Hillary is a crazy bitch, and that's a good thing. I mean, no one can deny that this woman is all kinds of smart. I mean, if you've ever seen her biography that they, sometimes air on MSNBC, going back from her earliest days, this woman was always at the head of her class, had a mind sharp as a tack. And, it's pretty common knowledge that when Bill was running in Arkansas and then as the president, and while he was the president, that this woman was vital. He wouldn't have won if it wasn't for her. She was that important. But in running for her own campaign, she's often painted as if there's something wrong with her. You remember right before New Hampshire, where she got emotional and then cried, and people was the calls, oh, it's fake, oh, she's, it's not real, that she's painted as a robot. Anytime she shows emotion, therefore, she's painted as being hysterical. That there was often people, online particularly, who were calling her, she's psychotic, there's something mentally wrong. And I say, if they're gonna label you that, then make it work for you. I mean, be the crazy bitch. Because you notice that when we elect presidents, we don't necessarily care that they're competent or intelligent. Bush, twice. But we want characters. It doesn't matter how intellectual you are. Doesn't matter how much experience you have. The boring people tend not to win. Al Gore, John Kerry, John Edwards, Bob Dole. But then you look at the people who do win. This country loves character in their politicians, because at the end of the day, the most a politician, a president can do is to maintain the status quo. That's about the best you can do. You can maybe get through one or two little bills, have a moderate or minor effect on the country, but you don't make huge changes. You would hope you don't do anything to ruin the country like Bush did, but otherwise it's pretty status quo material. So we gotta have something in our leaders. And Hillary, compared to the other two, has the most character, and one of the ways you can judge that is by our comedians, how much fodder they can get out of these politicians. And out of the three, Hillary is the runaway train, which is interesting because when Bill was in the White House, it was Bill all the time, and Hillary was sort of, what did we do with her? She was sort of really in the background, and nobody can compete with Bill's personality. But Hillary has come into her own in this election, and she's really the one that the comedians have gotten the most mileage out of. That's going to continue, of course, if she gets into the White House, and we'll have Bill on the side, so that's an added bonus. And to get into the White House, you have to build up that personality. Certainly, nobody will probably top Bush, but, Hillary is going to give us something. So, Hillary, be the bitch. Be the crazy bitch. One thing I was talking to a friend about was, right around April Fool's Day, she commented on this Barack and his sorry-ass bowling skills. And then later, about a week or so later, after she had challenged him, and then it was an April Fool's joke, she went on Ellen, and Ellen had set up this sort of novelty bowling set. It was like really oversized light pins, and she had like this plastic bowling ball. I don't know what it was, but she admitted that, she sort of downplayed the expectations like a good politician to the crowd and said, I haven't bowled in a while, y'all, so bear with me. And then she pulled back with the bowling ball and did this really light sort of toss, completely missing the pins like Barack did. And she kind of tried to play it off. What I said was that she went into it knowing she's not going to do very well. So then what you do is, instead of sort of downplaying it in the meek and mild, you go over the top. Use that opportunity to make a bold statement. So what you should have did was, gingerly pull back on the ball like she did, and then slam that mother into the pins. That would have gotten this crowd so energized, that would have been covered on all the news stations. And it would have been, that totally unexpected moment. And what she could have said was, well, you know what? I didn't do it conventionally, but I got those pins down, and at the end of the day, it's the results that count. And that would have been one of those moments that would have just been one of those defining moments in this campaign. So don't be afraid to play that up. No, you shouldn't be that 24 hours a day, because you don't want to come across as insane. But she's established that she's tough, she's a fighter, she's strong, she's competent. We get that. What we want to see is moments of that other side. So, Hillary, my message is to you: be the crazy bitch.